Here, all the bars are here. Welcome. My name is Kim Yutani, and I'm the Director of Programming of the Sundance Film Festival, and welcome to the 2019 Film Festival, and welcome to the world premiere of Selah and The Spades. This film is part of our next section, and for those of you who are not familiar with it, it is our section that is dedicated to innovation and creativity, and we thought this film fit perfectly in this section because this is a bit of a bold statement, but I think that this filmmaker has created her own language in order to tell this story. This is a first feature, but it is such a cool and audacious film, and I'm so glad we're showing it. This is a filmmaker who is very close to the Sundance Institute. She was a Knight Fellow. She is supported by the Feature Film Program in both the Director's Lab and the Screenwriter's Lab. We are so thrilled to be able to launch her first feature here. Please join me in welcoming the writer and director of Selah and The Spades, Tayarisha Poe.
Lovie, Simone, Celeste, O'Connor.
Coming up, brothers and sisters, jump right into the Q&A. I'm going to start off with the first question. At any point you have a question, just raise your hand. We would love to hear from you. So Selah is such a fascinating and complicated character. I would love to know how you first were inspired to create this character, and as your creator, do you think it's even fair to think of her as something like an anti-hero, or do you want to cast her in a different light than that?
Great question. I think Selah is in part, how do I say this? I was like kind of an angry teenager, so my parents are here, they can attest to that. And I felt like genuinely, like I didn't have the words for all of the emotions that I had inside of me, and so I would just act out. And I wish that I'd seen more girls who looked like me on screen acting out, and then being taken care of and being supported as opposed to being cast aside. So that's in part where she comes from. And it's like, in terms of like the anti-hero question, I'm okay with it, but I think it's more important to not think of her as either a hero or an anti-hero. She's just Selah. She's complicated. Like we're all just people. We're neither heroes nor anti-heroes. We're just trying our best, and we're making mistakes, and hopefully we're learning from them.
About how you approach this character. You're phenomenal in the film, but how would you first approach this complicated character?
I'm scared of Selah. I'm not like her. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to do it like that. But having Tayarisha like help me and guide me like through each scene and tell me like an emotion that I want to portray rather than the scene playing out itself. That helped playing Selah. So yeah.
Questions from the audience? All right, I'll keep asking, but raise your hand if you think of one. So, you started this character, but you build this entire world of the boarding school around her. Is that always the sort of setting you wanted to tell this story, or how did you create this world and all these factions?
I really love long novels. I love series of books. I love Harry Potter. You know what I mean? I love stories that have entire worlds, so that even if I'm not vibing with whatever the main character is going through at that moment, I'm there for the world. I'm there for the experience of feeling like I go to Haldwell and I belong to a faction. And I like to think about oh, what faction am I in? And I like to quiz other people and figure out who, obviously Jomo's a Bobby, clearly. So it's just I like to feel I just love worlds. I love stories that have rich, full worlds, because another thing about me, when I was a teenager, I would write a lot of Harry Potter fan fiction. And so it's you can't really do that unless the storyteller kind of creates enough world for you to, venture off and do your own thing with it. So that's why I spent so much time on that.
Hi, so we really looked out. We had a bunch of location managers helping us find a perfect location, and we ended up in a school right outside of Boston in Wenham, Massachusetts. It used to be an advertising agency. It was a nunnery. It was a private estate for a while, and they basically gave us one of the place over the summer. So it ended up being a really good fit for us.
Yes, please.
The photography is beautiful. How did you go about designing that
At the same time.
Yeah, right. That's a great question. I feel like for Tayarisha and I think a concept we were always talking about and thinking about was the concept of duality of this school, this place, Selah as a character herself. So trying to really find ways to push ourselves to visualize that duality and really build it into the DNA of the film across the board. So, it was almost less that it was other movies that were our reference, and it was more kind of built off that duality concept. We started using a term called savage formalism to kind of describe to ourselves.
But savage, Rihanna uses savage, not
Yeah, not the anthropological meaning of savage, but off of Rihanna's 2016 album Anti. So for us, it was kind of trying to build a formalism kind of born of that energy, and kind of trying to look at kind of the feeling, the brutality, the strength, the coolness of kind of this world. And I think for us, we were kind of drawn by brutalist architecture for most of our photographic references, kind of the density, the shape, the forms, and kind of the feel of that. It's an architectural movement coming out of World War II, a set of people who are trying to rebuild their country, and there's an ethical utopianism to it. But to us now, looking back, it's so heavy and so dense and kind of looks kind of oppressive, and I think there's a cool duality there that we kind of just tried to bring to this film as well.
Yes, it makes sense.
There was all.
Totally, yes. There used to be no grown-ups in the film. But there's something sort of nice to realize that there are adults and there is that, adult grown-up presence, but that they're ineffective. They're just not really, they can try and do these, they can take away prom, they can, lecture you in the kitchen, but at the end of the day, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And so I felt like you needed to see and feel that presence just a little bit so that you could understand the power of the factions. And their willingness to do whatever they want.
Looking, and like, you didn't pick an old stodgy, headmaster. So would you say? I tried my best.
Before production, Jesse and I, we had a phone call, and he was like, "Is there anything you want me to do, like, to prepare for the character?" And I very, honestly told him it would really help if you grew out your beard so that we could sort of hide Jesse Williams' face a little bit and he could become the headmaster. And I think it really did help. But it's like, I remember I had the character, the headmaster is based off of this pre-calc teacher that I had in high school, who once told me that I was really bad at math. And granted, I am bad at math, but I don't think it's a teacher's place to tell a student that. So I was just like, and he was like this very young, hip professor who thought he knew everything and was like gonna tell the kids how to be cool and adult. So I was really inspired by that character. And I feel like we usually don't see the young, hip, ineffective headmaster.
We have so much of the extraordinary cast here. Would any of you like to talk about like what drew you to this project, why you wanted to be in this film?
See, I'm not that cool. I don't know either. I will just say that I heard about it. I was meeting with casting director Jessica, who's here, and she started telling me about this filmmaker. She couldn't stop thinking about it. She had this project. As soon as she started describing it, I related to it. I got sent away to a New England prep school at that age, and it was kind of both traumatizing and wrapped with certainty and incredibly powerful uncertainty at that time. And I just said I wanted to read it right away. And I read it, and 10 pages in, I remember emailing Zach and my lady saying, I want to just help in some way. I just want to be a part of it. The voice is so clear. The script is exceptional. Every syllable, every word meant something. I knew exactly, it was being directed per syllable. And I just wanted to be helpful and lift it up in any way that I could. So I kind of just insisted on trying to be a part of it and be, part of this, incredible filmmaker's vision.
I read the script and had the same experience, not having gone to boarding school, but certainly what Tayarisha was speaking of earlier was growing up and not seeing images that reflected me on screen. And to be a part of this wave and this evolution, to be an image that someone behind me can see and go, we can do that, we exist, we are wonderful, we have a coming of age story, we have a mother's nightmare story to tell, because as a parent, that's a nightmare. to know that you're trying to prepare your kid for what's next and being out of touch with what's now is an incredibly important thing to be able to see. So thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Tayarisha, because I feel like there's not a lot of isness in characters. Like, she's not a hero, she's not a villain, she just is. And everything that comes from her, everything that she does is justified because she really believes this herself. So it's not right or wrong, it's just, that's what it is. And that's why I also wanted to play Selah so bad, and thank you so much.
I'm so very sorry to say that I think that's all the time we have. Thank you so much, Tayarisha.